Here's why everyone is talking about what happened in Russia yesterday. You see, not only did Ukraine carry out the biggest attack that Russia has incurred since World War II, but what Ukraine damaged specifically is why everyone is going crazy.
Today we're looking at TikToks that will change the way you think.
Famous Autopsies Part 29, the man himself, Kobe Bryant. On January 26th of 2020, Kobe, along with his 13-year-old daughter Gianna and 7 others, would board a helicopter traveling to Camarillo Airport to Mamba Sports Academy at Thousand Oaks to watch a basketball game.
Thank you to all the channel members for support. I have an influx of views last month in May, so it says around 70% of you guys are not subscribed, so make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'm gonna up the like goal for this one. Let's try to get 3,000 likes this video. Let's go!
Here's why everyone is talking about what happened in Russia yesterday. You see, not only did Ukraine carry out the biggest attack that Russia has incurred since World War II, but what Ukraine damaged specifically is why everyone is going crazy. You see, you have 3 ways that you can launch nuclear weapons: ICBMs, submarines, and dropping them from planes. Yesterday, Ukraine claimed to have destroyed a staggering 34% of all of Russia's warplanes that can actually carry these nuclear weapons. And keep in mind just how important, at least symbolically, it is for the United States and Russia to have equal nuclear capabilities. I mean, kind of the whole reason for the Cold War, and the bizarre explanation as to why the US and Russia have about 5,000 nuclear warheads, while the country with the 3rd most in the entire world only has 500. So if Ukraine's Secret Service is telling the truth, even if Russia has the same or more nukes than the US, yesterday they just lost a significant ability to actually use them. And it's not just that, it's how they lost it. Because Ukraine used 117 aerial drones, which comparatively are such simple, cheap pieces of technology, yet they caused what Ukraine are claiming is $7 billion in damages. I mean, the biggest question that everyone's asking today is how will Russia respond? Which is why World War III is trending again on Twitter. It happens every couple of years.
I've seen some dude in the comment section of that exact video saying that they believe that Russia eventually, I mean, I don't know when his timeline of eventually is, but he said eventually he believes that Russia will drop a nuke on Ukraine. If he does, I feel like the whole world would turn on Russia. And not only that, Ukraine is pretty close to Russia. So wouldn't that affect Russia as well?
So this TikToker is in big trouble. And he goes by the name Icy. And Icy loves to flex on TikTok. Like, here he is showing that his jewelry's real, here he is showing off his car, showing off his house, showing off his outfit, I guess. I mean, you get it, he's that kind of influencer. But one day, Icy's out driving his pink Mercedes, and he's in traffic, and he gets into some kind of road rage incident with a couple of other people in other cars. Particularly with this guy, who we'll just call Joe, because I don't know his real name. So Joe and his buddy, they're in his pickup truck stuck in this traffic jam, and Icy, he's out of his car, he's yelling at someone else, and Joe calls out to him like, dude, just get back in your car. And Icy turns to Joe like, hey, don't f with me, I have a pew-pew. And then Icy throws his whole ass drink at Joe. So Joe and his friend, they get out of the truck, and they are pissed. And Icy, instead of getting in his car and driving away like a decent human being, instead he gets into the glove compartment and pulls out a pew-pew, and he points it right at them. And Joe and his friend are like, okay bro, chill. And they turn around and go back to their car. And when they do, pow! Icy pistol whips Joe in the back of the head with his pew-pew. So then Joe gets back into his truck and he and his friend drive away. And Icy gets in his car and he chases them. And you can see footage of it here, and he ends up swerving around them and cutting them off. And yeah, and you can see he's clearly the aggressor. And Joe, he's still freaked out, so he calls 911.
This guy just got out of his car and pistol with me with a gun.
And then Icy calls 911 and he tells a different story.
This truck came up and tried to cut me off, and then I had 4 guys jump out the car and say, I'm gonna beat the f*** out of you and all that stuff.
Minutes later, police arrive, and they talk to Joe, but Icy's already fled the scene, like he's gone. Later that night, police roll up to Icy's house looking for him, and he just happens to be pulling out of his driveway. So, bam, police surround him with their pew-pews pointed right at him, and Icy's like, don't you know who I am?
Put both of your hands out the window, kid. We're not with you.
I don't know who I am.
Nope. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Do it now.
So I guess bro thinks he's too TikTok famous to get arrested. So anyway, they arrest him. Because, you know, it's against the law to pistol whip someone. And they search his car and they find his pew-pew, and of course, Icy denies he did anything wrong. And so he's in the back of the police car and he's on the phone with his girlfriend.
Babe, I'm getting arrested because of those people that cut me off.
And I know you're like, Ray, wait, he has a girlfriend? Yes, he has a girlfriend. But he's on the phone with her and police are like, you're being arrested, you can't be on your phone. And they take it from him.
You can't take my phone, this is my possession, so now you're gonna be a thief? Now you're gonna be a thief.
You're under arrest. You're not allowed to have the phone, okay?
Wow.
And then Icy starts with the whole, but I'm internet famous thing again.
You don't see any problem with this. You don't see the problem that somebody with a bright pink car who is famous online gets with on the freeways all the time, and that's why I carry a gun. You don't even know what gun is the same gun that I hit with if I did. So you don't even know what gun was used in crime, but you want to sit here and act like I'm the criminal?
And so anyway, sometime later, he's still in the back of the police car on his way to jail. And Icy continues to argue that he's the victim here, and that all of this is the result of his online fame.
I mean, not everybody knows who you are.
It doesn't matter. I have 58 million followers, baby girl. Everybody who's been on TikTok or Instagram has seen who I am.
You can't assume that everybody knows who
I
you
don't
are.
assume that everybody knows who I am. I said a lot of people know who I am.
And by the way, I don't know where he got that 58 million followers number, because his TikTok account doesn't show anywhere near that. But whatever, who's counting? So anyway, they get him to the station, and he keeps resisting arrest and trying to flex at the same time.
You're not about to take $30,000, $40,000 worth of jewelry without me knowing exactly where it's
I'm
going.
gonna write it on this form.
So
and then
go
you're
ahead and
gonna
write
sign
it on the form.
No, I have to
bring it
know what I have
it.
to put on it. So give me the jewelry.
You don't know what this jewelry is valued.
Right? Come on now. I don't.
You this to me the whole entire time in the car.
I've actually been so nice to you.
No,
You've been calling.
Get back in the car. Let him take They'll figure it out in jail.
Okay. Oh, wait.
If they lose, they lose.
And so at this point, I guess he gets mad, because he just starts vomiting insults at them.
You guys are so annoying. It's like a power trip. You guys didn't do good. You guys had no friends in school.
That's true. None.
You guys had no anybody thinking that you were cool. So Tiger King, if you move your arm again up.
And then they throw him in the back of the car, and he like tries to kick them.
Have a seat in the car. Hey.
There you go. Another charge right there.
And so anyway, after all that, Icy's finally arrested. Bam, here's his mugshot. And he spends a couple of days in jail, and then he gets bailed out. Now at this point, Icy could lay low. He could keep his head down, try not to make any noise or cause any trouble. Oh, but that's not what he does. He immediately gets on TikTok and he starts spinning his own version of the story.
Guys, should I do a story time about how I got ripped out my Mercedes and my ass beat for trying to take my seatbelt off when they tell me to get out the car?
And while he's out on bail, waiting for his trial, he's posting all over TikTok, still trying to flex like life is good. Like showing off his jewelry and showing off another Mercedes I guess he owns. Showing off a bunch of Louis Vuitton stuff he bought. Buying his girlfriend an expensive purse. And generally just showing off stacks of cash. Now, where did a guy like Icy get all this disposable income to buy all this stuff? Honestly, I don't know. But my guess is he doesn't have all this money to spend. My guess is he's in debt, living off credit cards, stuff like that. No one with any real wealth shows off stacks of cash like that. It's a dead giveaway that he's low-key not managing his finances well and probably living in debt. Anyway, eventually his trial gets postponed. So, in the meantime, bro is right back to living his best life. Until Icy gets in trouble again. Allegedly, he gets into it with someone else, and I guess he ends up keying that person's car or something? I'm not really sure. And police find out, and his bond is revoked, and bam, he's arrested again. And before he goes back to jail for a long time, he does whippets while live streaming on TikTok, I guess to send himself off. And so he sits in jail. And a year later, his trial finally happens. And he's found guilty and he's sentenced to a total of 5 years in prison. And since then, his girlfriend, I guess she's now his wife because I guess they got married, but she has completely taken over his TikTok. Like, it looks like she's running all his social media now.
Hey y'all, so I have to come on here and tell you guys that obviously I'm not on drugs and I'm just sad and breaking out. I'm off birth control and I am not doing well.
Also, to top it all off, Icy's mom, like his biological mother, she also makes TikToks, and sometimes she gets on and talks about what a turd he is.
Are you a parent and have you raised an asshole? Because I am, and apparently that is exactly what I did.
That's just amazing. Good luck to all of them.
The internet really be making the wrong people famous, because this dude's out here flexing on the people that literally gave him his income. It's just the weirdest thing ever. That's why y'all gotta get me famous, man, because I would never do something like that. And I'm genuinely surprised that bro had a girlfriend. Like, he didn't give me a girlfriend vibe. In a part of the video, he said something like, I have 58 million followers. Everybody knows who I am, who's been on the internet. As someone that's been on the internet, I've never seen or heard of him until this video, so I don't know what he's talking about.
I thought about the people who actually control our world. No, not the Illuminati, but the families. In this case, I'm talking about the Rothschild family. Among the list of influential families, the Rothschilds is regarded as the most powerful and wealthiest. Some estimate that their wealth is worth trillions of dollars in assets spread across the globe. The Rothschild dynasty was started by an ordinary man by the name of Mayer Amschel Rothschild. With the help of his 5 sons, he laid the foundation for what would eventually become the world's mightiest dynasty. These Rothschilds, hailing from a Jewish quarter in Frankfurt, Germany during the 18th century, went on to establish banks all throughout Europe, accumulating immense wealth and ranking among the wealthiest family of their time. However, their wealth and influence did come with controversy. Accusations of shaping global politics, implementing conflicts, and playing significant roles in various financial crises. Our story begins in 1744 when Mayer Rothschild took his first breath in Frankfurt, Germany. He was born to an Ashkenazi Jew who ran an accounting house and dabbled in money exchange. Now, what's strange is that on the entrance door of that accounting house, there was a peculiar red hexagram sign. Little did anyone know this symbol held a numerical and geometric secret, amounting to the number 666. That same symbol ended up on the Israeli flag around 2 centuries later as a testament to the vast influence that the Rothschilds had over Israel. These signs are also linked back to the Illuminati. The number 6 in the Illuminati represents imperfection and human sinfulness. The rise of the Rothschild family was closely tied to the opportunities brought by the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars from 1792 to 1815. Some even say they had a hand in various wars, including the War of 1812. In today's market, the Rothschilds own almost every central bank in the world, especially the major ones like the United States, Canada, England, France, Mexico, and Spain. The Rothschilds didn't stop at merely influencing global finances. They have been accused for manipulating the gold market for centuries. Up until 2004, they ran N.M. Rothschild, a global powerhouse established in 1810. They held meetings twice a week, effectively determining the world's gold price alongside Deutsche Bank. And coincidentally, when N.M. Rothschild announced his closure, the price of gold plunged by $7 an ounce. It is also believed that these people are responsible for every U.S. recession and depression. If they can influence gold prices, determine the outcome of wars, and control the Federal Reserve, I don't think it's a stretch to say that they caused every recession. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
Morbid Facts, Part 626. Lady Gaga has publicly shared that when she was 19 years old, she was raped by a music producer who left her pregnant and abandoned after she became badly ill. She's never named the attacker, but recounted that the producer threatened to burn all of her music if she didn't comply with his demands. Gaga later revealed that the trauma led to years of physical suffering and ultimately caused a complete psychotic break. She has never disclosed what happened to the baby. People living within a mile of a golf course have more than twice the odds of developing Parkinson's disease. This is due to continued exposure to certain pesticides, including neurotoxins, which are used to keep fairways and greens well groomed. In 2016, Melissa Ann Blair visited her murderous boyfriend Anthony Powell at the Oregon State Penitentiary and passed him 7 small balloons filled with methamphetamines while kissing him. Powell swallowed the balloons to smuggle them into the prison, but 2 of them ruptured in his stomach, leading to his eventual death from methamphetamine toxicity.
This is what happens when you get way too close to a U.S. aircraft carrier. No flag, no AIS signal, no response on the radio. Just a rusty fishing boat drifting towards 100,000 tons of American steel like it had nothing to lose. At first, nobody panicked. Small boats show up all the time in busy waters, especially near choke points like the Red Sea or the Strait of Hormuz. But this one felt off. It wasn't following any traffic pattern. It zigzagged, slowed down, drifted sideways, then picked up speed again. From the bridge of the USS Gerald R. Ford, it looked less like a lost fishing boat and more like a test. So what do you do when a small boat, possibly loaded with explosives or surveillance gear, ignores every warning? You don't wait to find out, because this wasn't a drill, this wasn't a training op, this was live. And the next 10 minutes would show exactly how the U.S. Navy reacts when something sketchy gets way too close to the most powerful ship on the ocean. And trust me, this fishing boat, they picked the worst possible target. Inside the USS Gerald R. Ford Combat Information Center, CIC for short, the operator didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. The screen already showed it. A small surface contact moving erratically, 4,000 yards out and closing. AIS, Automatic Identification System, was silent. No ship name, no origin, nothing. That's not unusual. In international waters, plenty of fishing boats don't broadcast. But this one? It wasn't acting like a fishing boat. It wasn't trawling. It wasn't drifting. But it was heading straight for the Ford's port side. Slow, but deliberate. Bridge, CIC, contact drifting left, speed under 5 knots, maneuvering erratically. The officer on the deck leaned toward the chart table. The course didn't make any sense. No response on VHF channel 16 either. The standard radio frequency for ship-to-ship calls. Flight deck, this is the bridge. Prep Seahawk for launch. Set security alert condition 3. That phrase, security alert condition 3, meant the ship was shifting into force protection mode. Not full combat alert, but definitely not peacetime posture. Below decks, sailors snapped to their stations. Weapons crews checked mounts. Visual watchstanders trained binoculars on the water. The command was clear. Watch it. Don't trust it. The call went out again.
Did you know that female dogs have behaviors so unique and special that we often don't even notice how different they are from males? They have surprising ways of showing love, care, and even protection that go far beyond what we might expect. Today, we're diving into 8 incredible traits that only female dogs show toward their humans. And I promise you, number 7 will completely change the way you see your 4-legged best friend. Behavior 1. They're more protective in dangerous situations. Female dogs have a protective instinct that goes far beyond caring for puppies. When they sense any kind of threat, they become more alert and often position themselves between you and whatever they perceive as dangerous. This tendency reflects their natural role as family guardians. You can clearly see this instinct during walks or in unfamiliar places. Unlike male dogs, who are often more curious and impulsive, females tend to observe their surroundings carefully and maintain a protective posture until they feel it's safe. They prefer to stay close to their human, making sure everyone is out of harm's way. It's common, for example, for them to choose sleeping spots strategically around the house, such as near doors or windows, so they can monitor the space even while resting. This built-in vigilance shows their deep sense of responsibility for the safety of the pack. They also react to their owner's emotions in tense situations. If they notice you're anxious or nervous, they become even more alert, as if trying to make sure everything will be okay. That's not just instinct, it's emotional intelligence. And don't think this protective instinct is limited to humans. Female dogs often behave the same way with other animals in the home.
Famous Autopsies Part 29, the man himself, Kobe Bryant. On January 26 of 2020, Kobe, along with his 13-year-old daughter Gianna and 7 others, would board a helicopter traveling to Camarillo Airport to Mamba Sports Academy at Thousand Oaks to watch a basketball game. Due to fog and rain in the early morning hours, all air traffic in the area was grounded. Flight trackers showed the helicopter circle above the zoo, and then at 9:30, the pilot contacted Burbank's Flight Control Center and was told he's flying too low. By this time, it's 9:40, and they start to experience extreme fog, and they turn south and head towards the mountains, and they start to rapidly climb. And by 9:45, the helicopter crashed into the side of the mountain and would begin burning. All 9 would lose their lives. Kobe'd have multiple lacerations of his face, scalp, and neck, so severe that his teeth were showing through his chin. His internal organs and brain were just eviscerated, with multiple fragments of his organs being found across the scene. There were multiple fractures of his spine, ribs, and hips. His right arm was cut off and his left arm was fractured. The skin of his head, chest, and abdomen were extensively burned. He'd have multiple fractures of his femurs, and both his feet would be cut off but recovered. And I'm sure that you could guess the COD is blunt force trauma. He was 41 years old at the time of his passing.
I have a question about T-Rex. I'm already positive it doesn't look like what we thought it looked like, but here's a big question. A horse skull looks like this, yet the majestic horse, it looks like this. And a dog skull, more carnivorous looking, but the dog looks like this, it has jowls, so why do we see this on the T-Rex and other carnivorous dinosaurs? Assume it looks like this. Why can't the T-Rex have jowls? Why didn't he look like this? That makes a lot more sense to me. Food for thought.
Yeah, I've always thought about that because I'm like, dude, we have chickens and stuff like that, and they have feathers, chickens, birds. So why couldn't dinosaurs have the same thing? But then we do have alligators, which are kind of like scaly, but...
New tonight out of Arlington, a woman has died after falling off of a roller coaster.
Six Flags Over Texas confirms the woman was riding the Texas Giant coaster just after 6:30 this evening when she fell. The ride has been closed until further notice while Arlington police investigate what happened. A witness told the crew the woman was riding with her family and flew out after hitting the first turn. It described family members reacting right after the ride stopped.
It was sad. It was very sad. And, you know, we kept telling them to let him out, you know, because they were hysterical. The daughter and the son, they were like, we have to go get my mom. We have to go get my mom. We were kind of in disbelief, and we just said a prayer for her. And
now, this is day file video of the coaster. The Texas Giant is the tallest steel hybrid roller coaster in the world. It was refurbished from a wooden coaster to a steel system and reopened in 2011. Back in 1998, 15-year-old Leslie Lane died after she was thrown from a ride called the Himalaya at the Travis County Livestock Show and Rodeo.
The Soviet spy bit into a poison pill hidden inside his tooth in an attempt to escape the German prison. You see, when he collapsed on the floor, the Germans thought he was dead and buried him a few hours later. But as the legend goes, the poison was only meant to slow his heartbeat and fool the prison doctors. So the next day, Soviet soldiers dug up his body, injected the antidote, and took him back to safety.
According to experts, if you can survive until the year 2050, you may be able to avoid death entirely and live forever. The reason that they're saying this is because they believe that medical technology will be so advanced by the year 2050 that they'll be able to stop the aging process or completely reverse it to an ideal age altogether. Some of the treatments they believe will be ready for this process by 2050 includes gene editing, replacing your organs with brand new lab-grown or 3D printed organs, and even nanomedicine. And if all that fails, experts even believe that people will have an option to upload their consciousness into a computer program so that they can live in their perfectly simulated world forever. Now, to me, it seems like all of this is just leading to the end times beast system. The idea of humans combining with technology is being pushed heavily recently, and I believe technology will be a key component in people receiving the actual mark of the beast on their forehead or arms. Now, obviously, 2050 is still a while away, so all of that is just a theory. But leave a like and let me know in the comments. If you could, would you want to live forever by any means necessary?
Did you know New York City sits on top of a massive underground mountain range that's older than dinosaurs? Manhattan's famous skyscrapers can only exist because they're anchored into ancient schist bedrock formed 450 million years ago. This prehistoric foundation creates the distinctive dip in building heights between Midtown and Downtown, where the bedrock plunges 200 feet underground. Every time you walk through Manhattan, you're literally standing on the remains of an ancient mountain chain that once rivaled the Himalayas. What other buried worlds lie beneath our greatest cities?
I mean, if I'm being honest, every time I'm in Manhattan, I'm just like, dude, I'm literally standing on like subways. Like, you literally be just walking and you just hear a train just under your feet. It's actually crazy.
People who constantly block or delete others are likely suffering from borderline personality disorder. These individuals have extremely unstable emotions and struggle to maintain healthy, intimate relationships. Even when they experience brief moments of happiness, they often destroy it with their own hands. From a psychological perspective, borderline personality typically exhibits the following 6 characteristics. 1. Fear of abandonment, yet actively push others away. They have an extreme fear of loneliness and separation. Even when they know a relationship is unhealthy, they're unwilling to leave. Once they sense the other person might walk away, they'll block and delete them first, as if this could prevent themselves from being left behind. This is a typical, self-fulfilling prophecy. The more they fear losing someone, the more likely they are to lose them. 2. Emotional instability and black and white thinking. Their judgment of situations is extreme. It's either love or hate. Minor incidents can trigger emotional breakdowns, and they may even harm themselves or those around them. Afterward, they fall into deep guilt and fear. 3. Strong need for control, lacking security. In relationships, they want their partner to completely comply with them. When things don't go as expected, they feel unloved and unimportant, leading to intense emotional fluctuations. 4. Love intensely, disappoint intensely. They start with fiery passion, diving in quickly, but soon fall into deep disappointment. They tend to idolize their partner, then completely reject them. This pattern of extremification in relationships repeats itself. 5. Unstable self-perception. One moment they think they're excellent, the next they're extremely self-critical. They lack a clear sense of self-identity and long-term goals, often relying on relationships to fill their inner void. 6. Depression, anxiety, and tendency towards self-harm. They experience prolonged emotional lows, possibly accompanied by self-harm impulses. Most come from emotionally deprived families of origin, lacking security in childhood, making it difficult to find true happiness as adults. Why are they always in pain? Their emotional dependence is strong, and their happiness is built on others' attention and responses. But in reality, they're often attracted to people who cannot provide emotional stability, such as those with NPD, thus constantly cycling through expectation, disappointment, pain. What really sustains relationships? Inner stability and independence. Only when you stop placing all your expectations on the other person can you build equal, healthy, and relaxed relationships. You need to understand, it's not that they won't leave because you desperately try to maintain the relationship, but rather, only when they truly want to stay are they worth your cherishing.
Ukraine just changed war forever in what's being called the greatest special operation of all time. Some saying this could be the atomic bomb event of our lifetime, as in there will be a very clear before or after point in history because of this. Because reportedly, yesterday Ukraine destroyed 34% of Russia's strategic bombers in a drone attack unlike any other. And they did this by putting drones in shipping containers for wooden kit houses and then shipping them to areas near 4 air bases. Them then activating it, the roofs of the containers opening and the drones flying out and hitting the Russian bombers. With there being claims that these drones were controlled by AI rather than a person, though I will say there the Pentagon says it's unsure. And notably, there was no air defense to shoot these down because typically you don't have anti-air systems at an airbase 3,000 miles into your own country. Also, the attack's been called cost-effective because the drones are said to only cost around $4,000 each, and to the untrained eye, they kind of look like a DJI drone that TikTokers use. It's also said that the containers then self-destructed after the drones had launched. You know, with this, outside of the fact that Russia's going to have a harder time now killing Ukrainian civilians, this is kind of as rough of a psychological attack as you can get. Right, imagine being a Russian leader right now. Every single shipping container in your country could be a weapon, and every highway that they travel on is now a threat vector. You're gonna have to inspect all containers now. You're gonna have to screen all your drivers. You're gonna have to monitor internal roads. This could slow down the supply chain to a grinding halt. But for now, follow to stay in the loop.
A couple of young hikers who almost didn't come back literally had a very bad trip. What happened is 3 friends in the Adirondacks over Memorial Day weekend, they took some mushrooms. And they went up the mountain. I'm talking about hallucinogenic mushrooms. They got up there to the top of the mountain, and then they became separated, and then 2 of the friends called the police and said the other friend was dead.
Whoa.
Good news is, he wasn't dead, he was just behind them. And he just behind him, and the other friend was also calling the police and saying, help, we're lost. So the Rangers came up and they got him and they brought him back. They brought him back to the campsite, and everybody is alive from this trip.
And the moral of that story is, the lesson here is what?
I don't know. It's don't go hiking. I mean, it's a bad idea.
Or do on the mushrooms. Yes, I know. No, I know. Don't go hiking.
Do the mushrooms. It's always like
don't do the mushrooms.
Do the mushrooms at home.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. You got to have one sober.
Tony, don't go hiking.
I was on my way back home from the city. I had been hanging out with one of my friends. We got dinner, and I had hopped on the 747 train to Babylon. And I was in the car completely alone. I was the first one in, and this guy comes in, a really big dude, and he sits right next to me, and I happen to be sitting in the seats that are like, there's 2 seats here and there's 2 seats facing, and I had my legs up on the other seat in front of me. He comes and sits down. I'm already like, why is this dude sitting next to me? There's so many other seats. So I move my legs from being up just to make myself more comfortable. And he says, you don't have to move your pretty legs. I won't bother you. So then I was already uncomfortable by the fact of him saying that and sitting down when he could have sat anywhere else. So that's when I started recording him, just for my own peace of mind and safety. And yeah, weird dude. He was drinking, and he was trying to say something else to me, but I kind of just like tuned him out with my headphones. And I kind of just like looked out the window and like didn't pay him any mind. He eventually stopped trying to like say stuff to me. But yeah, no, the whole thing was crazy. I can't even believe that ended up being the Go-Go Beach Killer. That's totally freaking insane. I can't even believe it.
The relationship between love and sleep is intriguing, as being with a partner can make you feel drowsy due to various physiological and emotional factors. Physical contact with your loved one triggers the release of oxytocin, the love hormone, which helps you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Additionally, being close to your partner reduces cortisol levels, promoting relaxation, while synchronization of heartbeats and breathing enhances feelings of connection and trust. Co-sleeping can foster a sense of emotional safety, making it easier to open up about feelings and anxieties, while your partner's scent and voice can provide soothing comfort. However, boredom or routine in a relationship can also contribute to feelings of sleepiness. Ultimately, love affects sleep quality and overall well-being, with couples experiencing benefits such as lower blood pressure and reduced stress.
Sometimes the best place to hide is right in plain sight. This is Gigi Bryant, and this is her dad, Kobe Bryant, and they supposedly died back in 2020 in a helicopter crash. And coincidentally, the giveaway at Kobe's last ever home game just happened to be him as a helicopter. And also, coincidentally, a Cartoon Network episode of this show depicted Kobe in a helicopter crash. Now I'm about to show you some other coincidences, and you can make up your own mind. Coincidences like how Gigi has been depicted as an angel more than anyone I have ever researched who supposedly lost their life. Her as an angel. And well, this is famous WNBA star Angel Reese. And when she held the NBA trophy, she couldn't help but say, "It reminds me of Kobe." And Angel just happens to be super close with Kobe's ex-teammate and someone he referred to as Big Brother, Shaq. So close that Angel affectionately refers to Shaq as Uncle Shaq. Kind of like Gigi used to refer to him as. Kobe's kids called him Uncle Shaq. Oh, and just in case you didn't know, Shaq's a 33-degree Freemason. Here he is with some of his brothers, and here he is wearing his Freemason ring. I wonder why they call it a secret society. Maybe it's because he keeps a good secret. I mean, so there's some circumstantial coincidences. It's not like there's physical coincidences like them having the exact same eyebrow, or them having the exact same motivated Kobe game face and lining up symmetrically. Okay, so there's another coincidence that's physical. It's not like they have any similar markings or anything like that. Because if they did, there's some psychopath out there that would have spent hours and hours and hours combing through the internet and looking for pictures where one of them has low enough makeup on to see her actual skin complexion. And someone out there would have found exact markings. But even then, again, that's just a coincidence. I mean, identical twins don't even have the same markings, so it would just be a coincidence, like the rest of it. Okay, so fine. Her name is Angel, and Gigi is depicted as an angel over and over and over and over and over again. But for them to really be the same person, I mean, there would have to be a coincidence of them sounding alike, right?
Asia Wilson and Jackie Young. From the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. Finally for you, what would it be like to one day be a WNBA player? I think it means everything. I mean everything. Awesome. Just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the...
One of these days, I really should start playing the lottery because I must be the luckiest human in the world to find all the coincidences that I do. I must just have a knack for finding coincidences. And if you want more detailed information on this where I'm not trying to sidestep the moderators, go subscribe, check out the full-length video. And of course, this is for entertainment purposes.
I 100% see the similarities, but I feel like he's dragging it. I feel like he's definitely dragging it more than it needs to be.
This guy just rewrote Titanic history. In a simulation game, he took control of the ship and faced the same deadly iceberg that doomed the original. He spun the wheel like a madman, cranking it left with everything he had, hoping it'd be enough to miss the iceberg. The result? He actually avoided the iceberg, changing the ending that haunted history. The passengers safe, the ship untouched. Someone give this man a medal.
Don't close the car window and sleep in the car with the air conditioner on. This is because the air conditioner needs the engine to run at high speed to provide power to the air conditioner compressor. However, when the engine runs at high speed, the fuel cannot be fully burned and carbon dioxide is produced. If the car window is closed and the air conditioner is in the inner loop mode, carbon dioxide will accumulate in the car and the concentration will continue to rise, causing the car to be poisoned. At the same time, the space in the car is small, and if the air in the car is set in the inner loop, the human breath will lead to less oxygen in the car, and the carbon dioxide produced will be higher and higher. But with the increase in carbon dioxide concentration, people will be in a state of coma and a lack of oxygen in the brain.
Imagine you take off your headphones, and your head has a dent. Thousands have reported strange grooves forming where their headset rests. It's not reshaping your skull, but constant pressure deforms skin, fat, and muscle layers. Over time, it can trigger tension headaches, scalp pain, and even nerve irritation. It's not just a dent. It's a warning sign your head's under pressure. Hit follow if you know someone who games a lot.
Okay, you asked for it. Here are 5 more things I won't do because I've been a mortician. Number 1. I will not purposely cut anybody off in traffic or do anything that would make them want to run me off the road and unalive me, because that has happened. Road rage is real. Number 2, I would not swim in a lake without wearing a life jacket. And in fact, I wouldn't swim in a lake at all because I've made so many removals in lakes that I've been scarred for life. But get me on a boat, but I'm not going to be swimming in the lake. Number 3, if I hadn't gone to the bathroom in more than a week and a half, I would go to the emergency room. I've seen it. She was 30 years old. Her colon ruptured. She got sepsis and she died. Number 4, I would not joyride in the country with my kids in the back of a pickup truck. Too dangerous. And number 5, when the light turns green, I look both ways and I wait 3 seconds before pulling out into the middle of the intersection. We've had several funerals where people are just in too big of a hurry to get through that light and smack right into somebody.
Ukrainian media is reporting right now that Zelensky is hiding away in a bunker under Kiev as the capital city is being shelled by Russian ballistic missile. After deciding to attack deep into Russian territory, escalating this conflict further, Zelensky is now making the people of Ukraine pay for his decision. Air raid alerts are for over half of the regions in Ukraine, with severe alerts right now only in the capital city of Kiev as the Russian retaliation has started. Early on, we're seeing strikes on military troop training facilities, which is different than Zelensky's strategy yesterday whenever he ordered a bridge to blow up over a civilian train moving in Russia. As you see, this civilian train had this bridge fall down on it, where 9 people lost their lives, including children. So after that escalation, Zelensky decides to start attacking deep into Russia, escalating this war, and putting rumors out there that Russia is going to declare war on Ukraine, which would open up a lot of new options for the Russians, including a certain type of weapon. Things are getting spicy, so make sure to follow me for updates.
Why would never eat a donut at Dunkin Donuts? So we're here in Boston, and this is the classic donut to order at Dunkin Donuts, the Boston Cream Donut. I mean, I can see why people love this. It does smell good, and I'm sure it's really tasty for that 2 minutes of enjoyment. But what you don't realize, it has 65 ingredients in it. 20 grams of sugar, 13 grams of fat. One of those ingredients, titanium dioxide, which is a whitening and brightening agent found in cosmetics, but also in your Dunkin Donut. This was banned in Europe by the European Food Safety Authority because of the hundreds of scientific studies showing the harmful effects of its being a genotoxin. This means that it has the ability to damage DNA that leads to cancer. So save the titanium dioxide for your face and save the donut for the trash.
Magnus Carlson, the #1 chess player in the world, just lost to a 19-year-old, and the way he reacted has a lot of people upset. Now, Magnus Carlson is the #1 ranked chess player in all of the world, and this man right here is an unknown 19-year-old that was playing him yesterday in the Norway Chess Championship. And as you can see, when Magnus lost, even the guy that beat him was in complete shock that his life just changed forever, because he will forever be known as the man that made Magnus Carlson act like that. He even said himself in an interview that 99 out of 100 times he would lose against Magnus, but that one time just now happened. However, people online were absolutely upset, saying this is a ridiculous behavior and against the sportsmanship. He must be penalized for his conduct. And this guy right here, the unprofessional behavior by Magnus. Magnus was too emotional, but he did try to be a good sport. It's fine. Congrats to Gurkesh.
In my opinion, anyone that says he needs to be penalized for how he acted is definitely overreacting, because, you know what I'm saying, if you spend a lot of your time doing something and you lose, you're going to react that way. But it's just the fact that he didn't project that on his opponent. Like, he wasn't like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was just like, good game, dude. So I think he's good. He'll probably bounce back stronger, if I'm being honest.
Bruh, this 19-year-old model just fell 150 feet from the sky, y'all. And the craziest thing, she unbuckled her own harness, y'all, in midair. And as she was falling, people heard her screaming, help, help. That don't sound off to y'all? Her name is Tiana Rodriguez. So this happened when she was doing a parasailing promo in Montenegro. So they said once they was putting the gear on her and everything, she was calm, y'all. They say she was confident, she ain't showed no fear. But once she got in the air, everything changed. They said when she got up there in the sky, she started freaking out. She started having a panic attack or anxiety attack. They said she ripped off her vest and then she did the unthinkable. Yes, y'all, she unbuckled her own harness in midair. You know that was spelling for a disaster. They said before the chaos ultimately happened, she was like, put me down, as if something was up there that she didn't like. Cause y'all remember when she was on the ground, she was all good. I understand that you could be scared in midair, but it's crazy to me. You're so calm, you said you're good, and then you lift off and you're up in the air, and then all of a sudden you just freak out. So the company said they believe it was a panic attack, but her family said she was trying to save herself. Save herself from what? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. This shit crazy, fool.
Why does the Finnish government paint deer's antlers with spray paint? Well, the increasing number of deer-related road accidents was a major concern for the Finnish government. So they came up with an idea of spraying the deer's antlers with reflective paint and turning them into glowing road signs, making it easier for the drivers to spot them while driving.
This dinosaur was so well preserved, scientists thought it was alive when they found it. This giant armored dinosaur discovered in Canada is considered the most complete dinosaur fossil ever found. We're not just talking bones here, it was found with its skin, armor plates, and even traces of its original coloring still intact. You can actually see its scales, the heavy spikes along its body, and patterns that once helped it camouflage against predators. This 110 million-year-old Burrellapelta was built like a tank, covered head to tail in natural armor, and weighed over 1.5 tons. The fossil is so detailed that scientists could tell Burrellapelta was reddish-brown with a lighter underbelly, the same kind of color pattern modern animals use to stay hidden.
Starting now, your height is gonna matter a whole lot more on Tinder. That's because this week, the dating app just quietly tried to test a new feature where users can filter by height. Someone posted a screenshot on Reddit showing a new height toggle in discovery settings, which allows users to specify the height they want for their matches. And you want to know the top comment on that Reddit thread? The only way they're gonna get women to pay for their service too. Now, they did put a disclaimer right above this saying that it's not so that women can filter out short men. Because I'm not gonna lie, Twitter is having a meltdown right now, saying it's over for short kings. But what is so ironic is that in 2019, they actually posted about a height verification for April Fools. 6 years later, though, we now have a height filter, and it's the 2nd of May. So it's real. But what do you think? Should they keep or remove this new feature?
I mean, I don't know. I don't use Tinder, so I would never really know. But it's definitely going to be a paid service, it looks like, for women at least. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that... I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter because who cares at the end of the day, right? It's just like Tinder, I guess.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe.